Hi guys, we're going to finish Notes Unit 1 Topic 6, solving equations with variables on both sides, as you can see it up here. And I just put it to this right here so you could see where we were. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down. If you'd like to add this into your notes, that would be awesome. In class, we did C, D, E, F, and I believe that's where we stopped. So we are going to do just G and H together right now. I would recommend writing it down in your notes. So if you need to, if you don't have your notes out and ready, just pause the video so you can grab your notes. Okay, so first thing we did was we drew a line to separate the two sides of our equation. Now remember, these equations are different than our regular two-step equations because we have a variable on the left and we have a variable on the right. This is a negative 2k, this is a positive 1k. We are going to move our variables so that they're on the left. So in order to get rid of a positive 1k, I'm going to subtract 1k from this side, and I'm going to go to the other side and I'm going to subtract it from the like term. So I'm going to make sure I put it under the k term. So I'm going to do minus 1k from the other side to keep everything balanced. This cancels out. My minus, be careful there, our minus almost got covered up. My minus, or negative 35, comes down. My equals is going to come down. Over here, when I have a negative 2k and I subtract 1k from it, I get a negative 3k. And then this plus 10 has to drop down. Okay, so when we get to that point, it should look like a regular two-step equation now. Okay, so I'm not going to focus on anything above my purple line now, because I'm done with that. Okay, so now, again, I'm going to go to the side that my variable's on, which is the left-hand side. I'm going to get rid of the plain number piece, or term. So I'm going to get rid of this positive 10. To get rid of that plus 10 or positive 10, I'm going to do minus 10. Go to the other side. I can put it right under this, because these are like terms. I'm going to subtract 10 over here also. This cancels out. My negative 3k is going to drop down because that's all that's left over here. My equal side comes down. Negative 35 minus 10. It's going to go in my calculator just like this. I'm not going to add any more minuses in there. That's going to give me a negative 45. Then I'm going to divide both sides because negative 3k means negative 3 times k, so the opposite is to divide. So I'm going to divide this side by the negative 3k, what it's being multiplied by, and I'm going to go to the other side and do the same thing. This cancels. Anything divided by itself is 1. So I get k equals a positive 15. Okay. Now h is a little bit different because for h, when we go through and we follow all the same steps that we've been doing for when we have variables on both sides, we're going to end up with something a little different that's going to happen, and we're going to go with it. Okay, so we have a 5t on the left, we have a positive 8t on the right. We want to get our variables to the left. So because this is a positive 8t, to get rid of it, I'm going to do minus 8t. I'm going to go to the other side, I'm going to do the same thing under the like term. So under the 5t, I'm going to take the 8t. Alright, so now this is where it gets a little tricky because we always have to have, when we have an equation, it has to stay an equation. So there has to be something on both sides all the time. If I have 8t and I take 8t away, this cancels. I have nothing left over here. But I can't just make it disappear. I have to put something there. Well, if I have something and I take the exact same thing away, I really end up with 0. So I have to make sure I put a 0 on that side. 5t minus 8t, if you type that in your calculator, 5 minus 8, I get negative 3t. And then, of course, we can't forget about this positive 36. It has to come down. Okay? So again, I'm done with that top part. I'm only going to look below my purple line now. So now I have a negative 3t plus 36 equals 0. And that's okay. Again, I'm going to go to the side with my variable. My variable's on the left. I'm going to get rid of undo the adding or subtracting. So I'm going to get rid of the term that's just a number. So I'm going to get rid of this positive 36 by doing a subtraction of 36. And I have to do the same thing to the other side. This turns to 0. Now because this turns to 0, even though up here when this turned to 0, we had to put the 0 because there was nothing left. But over here when this turns to 0, there's still something there, which is why we don't just put the 0 down, because anything plus 0 is just going to be what it is. So this negative 3t is just going to be negative 3t. If you add nothing to it, it's still going to be negative 3t. 0 minus 36, if you type that in your calculator, 0 minus 36, just like that, you're going to get negative 36. Okay, so we undid the addition or subtraction. Now we have to undo the multiplying or dividing. Negative 3t, remember we have a number right next to a variable, it means multiplication. So the opposite is to divide. So I'm going to divide this by the same thing, negative 3. Divide this by the same number, negative 3. This cancels. We're left with t, 1t or t, and negative 36 divided by negative 3 is going to give me a positive 12. Okay, and that's it for today. Just make sure you have this copy down in your notes. If you need to watch it again because I was talking a little quickly, go ahead and go back and watch parts again. Okay, good job today, guys.